expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Age Well Together, proudly presented by Sunscape Boca Raton. Step into a world of care, connection, and cherished moments. We invite you and your loved ones to embark on a journey where each show is crafted with comfort, compassion, and exceptional care. Join the conversation that enhances the richness of this new chapter in life. For more information, contact Sunscape Boca at 561-680-3600 and let us help you embrace the beauty of aging well together.
Welcome, I'm Lori Rolat, Director of Community Relations for Sunscape Boca Raton, and you are here with me together at Age Well Together. Sunscape Boca Raton is the new assisted and memory care community that opened in Boca last September. For more information and to schedule a tour, you can reach me at 561-680-3600. Today, my guest is Jennifer Braisted. Jennifer is the Director of Government Affairs for the Alzheimer's Association, State of Florida. She's been with the Alzheimer's Association since 2015. In her position, Jennifer works with state legislatures and state agencies to advance Alzheimer's policies. Ms. Braisted also works to research and develop policy solutions to create a dementia-capable state that helps the 80,000 Floridians, that's a lot, living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. She currently serves as the co-chair of the State Health Improvement Plan, SHIP, priority area, Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. Mrs. Braisted also serves as the advisory board member for the area agency on the aging Palm Beach Treasure Coast. And prior to working at the Alzheimer's Association, Jennifer worked as a political consultant and began her career working on Capitol Hill. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk about how you started working at Capitol Hill, because that's quite an accomplishment in itself. So what made you go in that direction?
So I honestly always wanted to make a difference and always felt that calling. And in college, I was able to have the opportunity to major in political science. And I took a lot of public policy courses, really looking at the policy solutions, and really just fell in love. And so, you know, my aspiration after college was to move to DC, and that's what I did. And I started interning and kind of working my way through. But I always had a passion for my home, and my family's here in Florida, so knew I'd always come back, but it was just an incredible experience. So.
I'm sure it was. What college did you go to?
So I actually went to Florida Atlantic University, so okay. Go Owls.
And next year will be our year. Right?
Exactly.
And then how did you get involved with the Alzheimer's Association?
Yeah, so I was working as a political consultant, working on a lot of campaigns for county and municipal races. And I saw the opportunity at the Alzheimer's Association come up, and I actually had participated in the walk the year before in Boca, which was the first year of the walk. Okay. And so it just felt like kismet and a real opportunity. I had, unfortunately she's passed, but my great aunt had suffered from Alzheimer's. She had just been in the early stages at that point, and it was still something that I was trying to grasp, and my family was, and so it was just a really wonderful opportunity. And so I started in 2015 and have never looked back. So.
Wow. Great. So what is Alzheimer's?
So Alzheimer's is a type of dementia, and it is a neurodegenerative disease, which means that, it has an effect on the brain. It usually starts with memory, but it will affect all aspects of, daily life, and it will lead to, not remembering. It's not just remembering what day it is, but, your body will forget how to function, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. And at where we are at Sunscape, we actually have a memory care community in which we help people that have Alzheimer's and other dementias, right? Because there's a lot of other dementias other than Alzheimer's. It just happens to be the most common one that people understand and that most are diagnosed with.
Correct. I mean, about 60 to 80% of all dementias are Alzheimer's. But as you mentioned, there are others, and dementia's that umbrella category where some people kind of misunderstand that. But, you know, dementia's the umbrella and Alzheimer's is a form of it. But also vascular dementia, frontal temporal, you know, Parkinson's dementia are some of the other more common ones that we see.
Yeah, it is. It's a terrible disease.
It is.
Not only for the person going through it, but the families and loved ones.
Absolutely. And, you know, here in Florida, we have over 580,000 Floridians, as you mentioned. It's the second highest number in the country.
Is it really?
It is. It is.
Wow. What is the highest? Do you know?
California, and they have about roughly 800,000.
Oh my gosh.
But, you know, compared to the populations, you know, it's really incredible. But we also have in Florida 840,000 people who are providing unpaid care. And the reality of it is that this disease does not just affect the individual with the diagnosis, it affects the whole family. And the caregivers, you know, 66% of caregivers in Florida are dealing with their own chronic health condition, whether that's diabetes or heart disease, you know, and then, you know, almost 30% are also diagnosed with clinical depression. So we need to do more to support those caregivers and get them the help that they need.
Absolutely. And I know that there's so much support. If you go to alzheimers.org, right, alz.org, there are support groups everywhere and ongoing, you know, support, whether it's online or in person.
Correct.
All over the state.
Right. It's ensuring that it's accessible because you may not have the ability to leave your loved one if they're living at home. So we have telephonic groups, we have virtual groups, we have specific groups for men, because men caring for their wives can be a whole different situation than, you know, so we have those different support groups to really tailor to fit the individual caregiver's needs.
Which is so important, because there definitely are times, whether it's financially, whatever that looks like, you can't move your loved one into a community such as Sunscape.
Right.
And so to have your caregiving, right, unpaid for your loved one at home as this is progressing, because it's a progressive disease, you need to know that you have that support.
Exactly.
And again, you can find that at alz.org. And just go into your city and county, and you'll be able to find a support group for yourself. The prevalence of Alzheimer's in Florida and Palm Beach County. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we have, you know, one of the highest populations here in Palm Beach County. We're, you know, last year, Rush University, which is in the Midwest, they actually conducted a study, and they actually did the first ever county prevalence data in the country.
Really?
And Miami-Dade was ranked #1 in the entire country. Wow. Over 16% of the over 65 and over population is living with Alzheimer's disease. Palm Beach County is in the top 100. I believe it's number 34. It's 34 or 35. So we are certainly up there. And it's about 12.5% of the population.
That's a lot.
That is living with Alzheimer's disease. And it's about 52,000 individuals with a diagnosis.
And that's with the diagnosis. So
correct.
Can you imagine, and the people that are just at home, like they think, oh, it's just like a little forgetfulness, but it's not,
absolutely,
right? It goes undetected.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. We talked about some of the Alzheimer's Association resources. What other resources are available for caregivers or people that have just been diagnosed and they don't know where to turn?
So, you know, I think it's really critical that nobody feels like they're alone, as you know, through this journey, and making sure that families have that support. One of the greatest things, you know, alz.org, as we mentioned, is a wonderful resource with information on warning signs of Alzheimer's, how to create a care plan after a diagnosis, diagnosis, but we also have a 24/7 helpline that is available. It's a master's level dementia specialist who will answer.
Really?
It's available in over 200 different languages, so there's no language barrier. That number is 800-272-3900.
Say it again. What is it?
800-272-3900. And it's just a critical resource. It's open 365 days a year, 24/7. You can call in the middle of the night if you're just stressed and you finally have your loved one to sleep and you can't go to sleep yourself. Maybe you're having difficulty getting your loved one to bathe. That can be a real issue, especially in the middle to late stages of the disease. As you know, and so, if you're at home, you could call, get tips. I mean, even in a facility, if an aide needs help, they can call. This is available for anyone.
So good
and
to
it's
know.
an incredible resource. So
Say that number again. It's so important.
absolutely. It's 800-272-3900.
That's just wonderful. 200 languages.
Absolutely.
And people don't know, right? You don't know where you can get care.
And there's, it's got a phone. It also has a chat ability too. So it's really available. And the helpline staff are absolutely incredible. They're working holidays. They're working nonstop to ensure that no one's alone and they have the resources they need.
Which is great. And that's for people that are on staff. I know, so this year the Walk to End Alzheimer's in Boca is on Sunday, November 10th at the South County Regional Amphitheater. I've been a volunteer and part of the volunteer committee, not only here in Boca the last 4 years, but also in California. The volunteer opportunities and the volunteers that are needed are vast.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
how can people become volunteers and why would they want to? In what capacity can they?
Sure. So there's several opportunities, but like you said, nothing could happen without the support of volunteers. You have, for instance, you're talking about the walk. I mean, that event is built from the ground up through the efforts of volunteers, whether it's getting sponsorship, getting water for the day, getting the tents, everything set up to make it so perfect and so beautiful for the community. That is all done by volunteers. And so that's a wonderful opportunity, whether you're able to commit to the whole planning for the whole year for that event, or even day of and the day before, because we need people on the ground helping us, as you know. But also we have opportunities, programmatically, we talk about the support groups. We need facilitators. We need people who have been there and know the struggles and are able to help facilitate those conversations and really guide people for that support. We need educators in the community talking about Alzheimer's, talking about the resources. Again, it goes back to making sure that nobody feels alone through this journey. And then finally, what I work in is our public policy, and we have advocates who actually help educate lawmakers about Alzheimer's disease, what they've been through, which will help actually craft and steer policy in the right direction and ensure that we have funding to either keep someone at home or get them support so they can be in a care facility. So these are the type of policy priorities that we work on, and we could not do any of that without volunteers sharing their experiences and their stories.
Which is just so we're gonna pivot and we're gonna talk about some of the policies. One that just got signed by the governor last night, which is we're gonna put this up on the floor. So this was just signed yesterday, right? Last night.
Yeah.
That it's the passage of Alzheimer's disease and related dementia training for law enforcement and correctional officers.
Yes.
So important.
Absolutely.
And tell us more about what this means.
Yeah. So HB 801 creates a law enforcement continuing education course on Alzheimer's and related dementia. There's currently no requirement in their curriculum for Alzheimer's disease. Some law enforcement do have that crisis intervention training, but Alzheimer's is only a very small segment of that. So this is actually creating a course. It'll actually be able to go towards their continuing education requirements, and it'll deep dive into Alzheimer's and dementia and really focus on a few key aspects.
Such as?
communication techniques, whether an individual is verbal or nonverbal, understanding those cues and being able to help, work through a situation. Also understanding behaviors when it comes to Alzheimer's. Someone could come off as very aggressive, where your first instinct would be to, physically restrain someone or something else. So all of this is learning alternatives to that, really de-escalating the situation, and then also looking at how to identify signs of abuse as well. Because, when it comes to Alzheimer's disease and dementia, 6 in 10 individuals will wander at least once in the journey. And that could be just walking, out of the house, could be at an event and walking away. There are signs for families to look out for if the loved one is saying, like, I want to go home, I want to go home. If they're pacing and they're angsty, trying to figure out that situation. But if they do wander, if it gets to the point where they cannot be found, you do have to engage with law enforcement. And so ensuring that they have the resources and tools needed to properly address those situations is absolutely critical.
It is absolutely critical. I know that for a community such as Sunscape, we have ongoing learning and training too, and a lot of it now is focused on people that have Alzheimer's and other dementias, on how to communicate, on how to redirect, right? Because we're all learning more and more and more about this terrible disease, but also giving us all the tools on how to help somebody, either if they're agitated, to redirect. We're in a secure community, so they're not walking out, knock wood.
Right.
But if they do come out, to have the police officers understand there's a different way to communicate and approach.
Yes.
To de-escalate whatever that is and get them back home safe is so important.
Exactly.
So this is huge.
It is.
This is absolutely huge.
It's a great step, and we're thrilled. Last year in 2023, the legislature created a voluntary registry where caregivers could sign up and let law enforcement know, listen, my loved one has Alzheimer's disease or another disease. But you really need to accompany that with training, and that was kind of our argument. So to see that come to fruition is just incredible. So I think that really will give law enforcement, all of these resources they need, because, we know they're out there every day fighting so hard and, protecting our community. So to have that tool in their, toolbox to be able to support is really incredible, and provides that peace of mind for caregivers too.
That's great. So we're going to talk more about what's next when we break for commercial. I'm Lori Rolat. I'm the Director of Community Relations with Sunscape Boca Raton, and I'm here with Jennifer Braisted, and she's the Director, of Government Affairs for the Alzheimer's Association. We're here at Age Well Together. We'll be right back.
Discover a vibrant oasis where comfort meets exceptional care. Whether you're seeking assisted living or memory care, our dedicated team is here to provide compassionate support and enriching experience for you or your loved ones. Join our Sunscape family and experience a new chapter of life filled with care, connection, and cherished moments. Schedule a tour today to see our beautifully designed community and learn more about how we can tailor our services to meet your needs. Your new adventure awaits at Sunscape Boca Raton. We're easy to reach and eager to answer any questions you may have about your future at Sunscape. Please call us at 561-680-3600 to make an appointment in person or virtually through FaceTime, Zoom, or Skype. We are located at 22501 Boca Rio Road and hope you'll be as excited as we are to see every side of you shine at Sunscape.
Now, let's dive back into the show and continue our journey toward a healthier and more enriching life. Stay tuned and let's age well together. For more details, contact Sunscape Boca at 561-680-3600 or sunscapebocaraton.com. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to Age Well Together. I'm Lori Rolat, Director of Community Relations at Sunscape Boca Raton. Sunscape Boca Raton is the new assisted and memory care community that opened up on Boca Rio Road in September. And for more information and to schedule a time to visit, you can reach me at 561-680-3600. I'm here today with Jennifer Braisted, and she's the Director of Government Affairs with the Alzheimer's Association. And we were just talking about legislation for research and funding and what have just been signed by the governor last night. I want to talk a little bit more about more of the legislation and what has been put in place. One is the Brain Bus.
Yes.
So tell us more about that.
So the Brain Bus is a really exciting program. It's actually unique to Florida, and it is it's a fleet of vehicles that travel the state, focus on underserved and rural communities, and provide education on Alzheimer's, education on brain health, the importance of brain health, risk reduction strategies, and also, provide caregiver support. We can provide on-site care consultations.
So is it like a big purple bus going through town?
So there's two of them. So we do have that large Winnebago. When you think of a bus, like move that bus, like that's it, all purple and beautiful. And then we also have a smaller van that can, get us through downtown, through Meisner Park and through downtown Boca, which is more realistic for more of our urban areas. But it's an incredible program. We were able to take it statewide in 2019, and just this past legislative session, which just ended a couple weeks ago, the legislature did allocate more funding for it. So incredibly excited for that, and it's doing incredible work. Last year it reached over 9,000 constituents, providing that critical education and really getting to people who wouldn't necessarily get that information.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's an incredible program. Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. What is happening with research and the funds that are being allocated to it? I know that with the walk, and again, the Walk to End Alzheimer's in Boca is Sunday, November 10th at the South County Park at the amphitheater. And for anybody that wants to start a team or join my team or become a sponsor, you go to alz.org and just click on the date and Boca, and you can become involved there. But talk to me more about research and funding and what is happening and what is needed.
Yeah, so, we've seen some incredible developments when it comes to research and very exciting things. But, we know there still needs more. Until we get that cure, until I'm out of a job, we need to do more. And the incredible thing with the Alzheimer's Association is, we are raising funds through the walk every year, and we've raised so much. We're supporting projects in, over 30 different countries around the world. So, it's not just staying in the United States, but, we also are working to have our federal government and our state governments investing in Alzheimer's disease as well. Congress just passed a budget, barely, just a few weeks ago, and we saw a $100 million increase.
Wow.
Which was incredible because a lot of things were being cut or staying the same. So we did see that $100 million investment. We are still advocating for more. We're headed to DC in just a couple of days, and we're going to be asking for about $318 million. So we're still, but the legislature here in Florida actually gave $17.5 million to Alzheimer's research.
Wow.
So that's state-funded research, and how great would it be if we found a treatment or a cure here in the Sunshine State? So.
And there is so much. I mean, last year there was a lot of talk about these new drugs, not to cure. But starting for preventive.
Yes.
And one is also the coverage for the biomarker testing.
Yes.
So talk to me, share with us more about that.
Sure. So, it is exciting because we are in a different phase where you can actually talk to someone if they get a diagnosis early enough about potentially being on a treatment. So there are drugs. One was FDA approved last year. It's called Leqembi, and it is being, administered as we speak. And it's for individuals who have mild cognitive impairment or are in the very early stages, but they have seen some very promising results. And then also there are other drugs in the pipeline. But one thing that's so critical is ensuring that people do have access to getting an early diagnosis. And so those biomarkers, as we mentioned, is, right now, biomarker testing would involve, imaging, so that'd be a PET scan, a spinal tap would be another form of a biomarker. But we are so hopeful that in the next few years, the possibility of a blood biomarker test. And so with that, it's ensuring coverage of it.
Which is just so important, and we just, again,
Right.
come leaps and bounds.
Yes.
So for more, I want to thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here. We
Of course.
really appreciate and all of this information.
Absolutely.
For more information, you can go to alz.org. Again, the Walk to End Alzheimer's in Boca was Sunday, November 10th. I'm Lori Rolat. I'm the Director of Community Relations at Sunscape of Boca Raton. We are the new assisted and memory care community here in Boca. And my guest today was Jennifer Braisted, and she's the Director of Government Affairs for the Alzheimer's Association. So thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here, Jennifer. And please reach out and learn how to help with raising more money to find a cure for this terrible disease.
Thank you for joining us today on Age Well Together, brought to you by Sunscape Boca Raton. We've delved into the essential topics that matter to families as their loved ones step into the next chapter of life within a secure, picturesque, and engaging living community. Take the next step towards a vibrant and fulfilling life. Until next time, stay tuned and age well together.
The opinions expressed